Hello all, welcome to my channel. Today we will be continuing the governance series. This is lecture number 5 of our governance series. Today we will be discussing about e-governance. So now let us see what is e-governance. E-governance can be defined as the application of information and communication technology for providing government services, exchange of information, transactions and integration of previously existing services and information portals. So e-governance can be defined as the application of information technology or computer when it comes to governance and providing other services to a citizen. So e-governance is basically an application of information technology or computer in government or governance or when it comes to providing various social services to the society. The E in e-governance stands for electronic. So e-governance stands for electronic governance. The Council of Europe referred to e-governance as the use of electronic technologies in three areas of public action. So the Council of Europe referred e-governance as the use of electronic technologies in three areas of public action. The three areas are relations between public authorities and civil society, the functioning of the public authorities at all stages of the democratic process, the provision of public services. So, the Council of Europe referred to e-governance, the use of electronic technologies. So, according to the Council of Europe, the use of electronic technologies is mainly in three areas of public action. First area is the relation between the public authorities and the civil society. So, when the governing authority comes into contact with the citizen or when they interact the citizen. So the electronic equipments or the information technology or the computers or other modern devices can be used for establishing a relation between the public authorities and the citizens or the civil society organizations. And the second area is the functioning of the public authorities at all stages of the democratic process. So the information technology can be used at all stages of the functioning of a government or a public authority. And the third area is the provision of the public services. So information technology or similar modern technology like the computer can be used when it comes to providing public services. So these technologies can also be used for public service delivery to the citizens by the government. Now let us see what are some of the reasons for opting e-governance. So now let us see what are the various reasons that made the governments to go for e-governance. Governance per se has become very complex. So with the course of time and increasing demand of the people and the population over the time, the process of governance has evolved and has become very complex. So, in order to deal with this complexity in the process of governance, we have to need an extra help. And so, we decided to integrate the information technology into the governance. And hence, ultimately, we chose e-governance as a solution to deal with the complex governance and increase in citizens' expectation from the government. So the citizen also has a certain amount or quality of expectation from the government, and in order to satisfy the citizens' expectation, the public service delivery and all other actions of the government should be made more efficient and fast. So in order to satisfy the expectation of the citizen, the e-governance came into shape. These are the two main central reasons for the emergence of e-governance. Now let us see what are the major objectives of e-governance. First objective is better service delivery to citizens. So, e-governance aims at providing a better service delivery from the government towards the citizen. So, to improve the efficiency and the quality of the service delivery, e-governance came into shape. Or one of the major objective of e-governance is to improve the service delivery of the government. The second point, ushering in transparency and accountability. So, when e-governance came into shape, it improved the situation of transparency and accountability in governance. Accountability means answerability of the government towards the stakeholders or the citizens or the civil society organizations or the various NGOs or pressure groups. and transparency transparency means the disclosure of information or openness in the processing of the government. So, when a government became transparent and accountable, it eventually became a good government. So, by incorporating the e-governance, we will be able to assure the transparency and accountability of the various government processes or the services, because by using information technology and computers and other modern technologies, we will be able to disclose the information through the Right to Information Act. Thereby we can ensure transparency, and we will also be able to answer the public through media and other platforms, which can make the government more accountable towards the people. The third objective of the e-governance is empowering people through information. So, by using various e-governance technologies, for example like the computer and the mobile, etc., the government will be able to provide more information to the people and thereby empowering them. So, that is a major significance. The fourth point is improve efficiency within government, that is between center or interstate. So, using e-governance platforms or by e-governance, the government will be able to improve the efficiency within government, that is the communication between various governments, that is for example the communication between various state governments, or the coordination between the central government and the state government, or the coordination between the central government, the state government and the various local governments will improve through the method of e-governance. And the fifth point is improve interface with business and industry. So, through the e-governance, the government will be able to improve the interface with the various businesses and the industry. Now, let us see what are the pillars of e-governance. There are four major pillars of e-governance. The first major pillar is the people. The second major pillar is the process. Third is the technology, and the fourth is the resource. So, the major pillars are people, process, technology and resources. I repeat, people, process, technology and resource. All these are important pillars of e-governance. Now, let us look at the type of e-governance. There are mainly four types of e-governance: government to citizen, government to business, government to employees, government to government. So, there are majorly four types of e-governance. That is the e-governance between government and citizen. So, through e-governance, so it implies the relation or the governance relation between the government towards the citizen and through the government to business. The second one is government to business. So, through various e-governance initiatives or platforms, government will be able to coordinate with the business. And the third is government to employees. So, e-governance also comes between government and the employees of the government. And it also ensures a coordination between various government to government. So the four types are government to citizens, government to business, government to employees, and government to government. Now let us see what are the advantages of e-governance. It improves delivery and efficiency of government services. So one of the major advantage of e-governance is that it improves the delivery and the efficiency of the various government services. Second point, improved government interaction with the business industry. So through e-governance, the interaction of government with business and various industries can improve, which will be beneficial to the society and when it comes to various service deliveries. Third point, citizen empowerment through access to information. So through e-governance, a larger amount of information can be passed to the citizens, thereby ensuring transparency in the government, and through this people will also get empowered. So citizen empowerment is also a major advantage of e-governance. More efficient government management. So incorporating e-governance technologies like computers, information technology, mobile, and various online platforms, the efficiency of the government when it comes to management increases. Less corruption in administration. So, by adopting e-governance, we will be able to reduce the corruption in the system or administration. Increase transparency in administration. So, through e-governance, we will be able to disclose more information to the public, and thereby we will be able to improve the transparency in the government or the governance, which will also empower the people and also create a trust between the citizen and the government. It is possible through RTI. Another major benefit is the greater convenience to citizen and business. So, e-governance makes the processes to citizens and various business more convenient. So, e-governance is more convenient when compared to ordinary governance. Cost reduction and revenue growth. So, by adopting e-governance measures, we will be able to reduce the cost of governance, and which will also improve the revenue growth of our government or our country. Increased legitimacy of the government. So, e-governance will also improve the legitimacy of the government and also improve the accountability and the answerability of the government. Another major benefit is that it flattens organizational structure. So when it comes to governance, there is a certain organizational hierarchy in the services. But by adopting e-governance, we will be able to flatten or weaken this organizational structure, and it will be a good step in achieving our goal of good governance. Reduces paperwork and red tapeism in the administrative process, which results in better planning and coordination between different levels of government. So, by adopting e-governance, we will be able to reduce the paperwork. So, earlier, most of our documents were made of paper, but through e-governance, we will be able to digitize all these documents, and we will be able to make the process paperless, and we will be able to store all these data in a digital medium. And the e-governance will also address the issue of red tapeism, which is the delay in the processing of various government offices because of the complex processing. And e-governance will also help in improving the coordination between various governments and also improve the planning at various levels. Improved relation. Next point is improved relations between public authorities and civil society. So, e-governance can also help in improving the relations between the public authorities and civil society. Another major point is restructuring the administrative process. So, e-governance can also help in restructuring or changing the structure of the administrative process in a better way. Now, let us see some of the e-governance initiatives. The steps taken to promote e-governance in India are as follows. A national task force on information technology and software development was set up in 1998. So, a national task force on IT and software development was set up in 1998. Next point, the Ministry of Information Technology was created at the center in 1999. So, in the year 1999, a Ministry for Information Technology was created at the central level. So, it is also a e-governance initiative. A 12-point agenda was listed for e-governance for implementation of all the central ministries and departments. So, a 12-point agenda was also listed for e-governance for the implementation at various ministries and departments. The Information Technology Act 2000 was enacted. This act was amended in 2008. So, the IT Act of 2000 was enacted and it was later also amended in the year 2008. The first National Conference of States IT Ministers was organized in the year 2000 for arriving at a common action plan to promote IT in India. So, the first National Conference of States IT Ministers was organized in the year 2000. So, in the year 2000, a national conference of the IT Ministers of various states was organized to plan and promote IT in India. Government set up NISG, National Institute for Smart Governance. So, the government also set up NISG, National Institute for Smart Government. The state governments launched e-governance projects like e-Seva. So, some of the initiatives of the state governments are, for example, the Andhra Pradesh government launched a platform, an e-governance project called e-Seva. And the Karnataka government launched a project called Bhumi. So, you should quote this as example. So, e-Seva program or project was launched by Andhra Pradesh government and Bhumi project was launched by Karnataka government. National e-governance plan was launched. It consists of 31 mission mode projects and 8 support components. So, the national e-governance plan was also a major initiative. The national policy on information technology was adopted in 2012. So, in the year 2012, we adopted a national policy on information technology, which is also a major step towards the digitalization and the e-governance. Some other initiatives are the National E-Governance Plan provides a holistic view of e-governance initiative across the country. So, another major initiative is the National E-Governance Plan. Around this idea, a massive countrywide infrastructure reaching down to the remotest of the villages is evolving, and a large-scale digitization of records is taking place to enable easy and reliable access to internet. The government has proposed to implement e-Kranti, National E-Governance Plan 2.0 under the Digital India program. So, the government has also proposed to implement the e-Kranti, National E-Governance Plan 2.0 under the Digital India program. E-Kranti is an essential pillar of the Digital India initiative. Considering the critical need for e-governance, mobile governance and good governance in the country, the approach and key components of e-Kranti have been approved by the government. So, considering the critical importance of the e-governance, the mobile governance and the good governance in our country, the approach and key components of e-Kranti has been approved. The e-Kranti framework addresses the electronic delivery of services through a portfolio of mission mode projects that cut across several government departments. Now let us discuss the Digital India initiative. Digital India Initiative. It is an umbrella program to prepare India for a knowledge-based transformation. So, Digital India is basically an umbrella program consisting of various sub-programs to prepare India for a knowledge-based transformation. It weaves together a large number of ideas and thoughts into a single comprehensive vision so that each of them is seen as part of larger goal. It has been launched by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, in short form MeitY. So, the Digital India Initiative is launched by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Vision areas: digital infrastructures as utility to every citizen. So, the main vision of these programs are digital infrastructures as utility to every citizens. So, the main vision of this program is to provide a digital infrastructure which can be used by every citizens. Governance and services on demand. So, it also aims to provide governance and services as per the demand of the citizens through various digital platforms. Digital empowerment of citizens. As we all know, most of the people in India are not digitally educated. So we lack a digital literacy. So one of the major vision of this Digital India initiative is the digital empowerment of the citizens of India. Now let us look at the 9 pillars of Digital India. Broadband. The 9 pillars are broadband highways, public internet access program, information for everyone, early harvest program, universal access to phones, IT for jobs, electronics delivery of services, e-Kranti, electronic delivery of services, e-governance, reforming government through technology, electronic, manufacturing target net zero import. So, broadband, public internet, information, early harvest, universal access, IT for jobs, e-Kranti, e-governance, electronic. All these are the 9 pillars of Digital India. Now let us look at some of the challenges of e-governance in India. One of the major challenge for e-governance in India is the lack of infrastructure. Lack of basic infrastructural facilities like electricity, internet, etc. Initiative like BharatNet, Saubhagya steps taken into this regard. So in India, we lack the basic infrastructure facilities like electricity and internet access. And most of the people don't even have smartphones in India. As in the recent COVID time, we have seen that there was a digital divide when it comes to learning for children. Because majority of the children or people in India do not have an access to a smartphone and proper internet facility. So the lack of infrastructure is the most important challenge when it comes to e-governance in India. And some of the initiatives which are taken in this regard are BharatNet, Saubhagya, etc. Second challenge is the cost. So implementing the e-governance will be a costly process in the beginning. E-governance measures are costly affairs and requires a huge public expenditure. So e-governance measures and the infrastructure requires a huge public expenditure, and that is also a major problem. In developing countries like India, the cost of project is one of the major impediments in the implementation of e-governance initiatives. So the high cost of implementing the various e-governance program is also a major problem when it comes to implementing e-governance in India. Privacy and security is another major challenge. Recent spark in data leak cases has threatened the people's faith in e-governance. Therefore, the implementation of e-governance projects must have security standards and protocols for safeguarding interest of all classes of masses. So recently there have been a lot of cases of data leakages. For example, if I have to say one, we have to take the Pegasus issue where the privacy of various personalities have been stolen. So there has been a lot of data leakages recently, and this is making people think, or this is making people lose their faith in e-governance and the various digital platforms because of the lack of privacy and security. Therefore, the implementation of e-governance should have high security standards. For that we require high technology, and which can also be expensive at the same time. That is also a major hindrance. Another major hindrance is the digital divide. Huge gap between users and non-users of e-government services. So, as we already discussed, the concept of digital divide was thoroughly discussed throughout the country during the COVID time when it comes to the online education, because majority of the people don't have proper internet access in the country, and most of them don't even have smartphones when it comes to people of the rural area. So there is a huge digital divide that is existing in India. So only people with proper digital literacy and proper internet facilities can access the e-governance services. In other words, the weakened section of society like the poor, the women and other scheduled caste will be left behind. That is also a major problem. Huge gap between users and non-users of e-government services. The digital divide takes form in rich poor, male female, urban rural, etc. segments of the population. So the gap needs to be narrowed down. Then only benefits of e-governance would be utilized equally. So what the government should focus is to narrow the gap of the digital divide. Now let us look at some of the e-governance initiatives taken by the union government. We will only be discussing the name. The major e-governance initiatives are Digital India, Aadhaar, mygovernment.in, Umang, computerization of land records, pay government, digital locker, mobile seva. Or these are examples of various e-government initiatives of the government. Plus you can also quote the example from Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka also. Now let us look at some of the recommendations for implementing the e-governance in India. That is, in other words, these are also the way forward when it comes to implementing e-governance. So the first major recommendation is that we should follow a systematic approach. So when it comes to implementing the various e-governance initiatives, the government or the implementing authority should follow a systematic approach. Another major recommendation is designing a flexible planning process. So the planning process should be flexible. As we all know, when implementing a particular project or initiative, everything will not go as we planned. So we should make our plan flexible to suit the needs of the time. Boosting organizational learning and responsiveness. So the government should also focus on digitally upskilling the people. That is, we should provide digital literacy, and the government should also be more responsive. Monitoring strategic effectiveness based on governance reforms. So while implementing the various e-governance programs, we should also monitor the strategic effectiveness based on the governance reforms. Formation of strategic alliance for effective e-governance. So for effective e-governance, the government should also focus on forming suitable or strategic alliance so that the policies or the projects will become more efficient. Bridging gaps between planners beneficiaries. So those who are implementing this project may be educated people and they may also have proper facilities also, but the beneficiaries of such programs may not have such luxuries like them. So the program implementers or the planners should think like or see things from the perspective of the beneficiaries, thereby the gap between their thought and the gap between the beneficiaries and the planners will be less and thereby making the project more effective. In other words, the project should be more beneficial towards the citizen. Another major point is incentivizing implementers for local initiatives. So people or group which are implementing the local initiatives should be given proper incentives so that they get encouraged further in the future also, and they will also do a good job if we provide them with proper incentives. Enabling implementers and beneficiaries for participatory governance and demand driven services. So the implementers and the beneficiaries should focus on participatory governance. So more people participation or the participation of the stakeholders should be more when it comes to implementation, and the services provided by the government should be demand driven. So the government should provide services according to the needs of the people. Ensuring adoption of e-governance services. So the government should also try to incorporate various e-governance services wherever possible. Strengthening the National Informatics Center. So we should also focus on strengthening our already existing National Informatics Center so that it will give a boost to the digital upskilling and the e-governance in India. Shared ownership of e-governance services. So the government should also focus on participating other stakeholders like the NGOs or other business organizations and other civil society organizations while implementing the various e-governance services so that the effectiveness of the service will improve rapidly. Ensuring strategic coherence among planners and implementation. That is also a major step. Improving service levels through learning loops. Another major way forward is practicing contact leadership. Another major point is rejuvenating IT unit of government departments. So we should also focus on improving the IT units of the various government departments. Standing bottom-up planning through emergent strategy and rural level socio-economic databases. So while implementing the various e-governance initiatives, the implementers should follow a bottom-up strategy, not a top-down approach. That is also a major point to be taken into consideration. With this, I am ending this lecture. I hope you like this video. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.